All right, meanwhile, Varanasi Court to hear the Gyanvapi case shortly from now. The court to decide next course of action. The judge inside his chamber. Currently, they're all getting ready to pronounce a decision on the maintainability of this case, on the Gyanvapi Mosque case. In fact, the judge is currently in his chamber. The order is possibly expected anytime soon now. 32 people to be present inside the courtroom. The suspense, of course, is building. Abhishek Mishra is with us, joining us on this big story. Abhishek, the country or maybe the world, wants to really know what exactly, what could be behind the Gyanvapi Mosque controversy, whether or not the court will entertain this plea made by the Hindu side asking for worship to be allowed inside the Gyanvapi Mosque premises, as they claim that there is a lot of Hindu symbolism and deities and idols that have been found, including the Shivling, as part of the survey. And the survey report has also now been submitted to court. Court will first take up the matter on maintainability of this case, and once that's decided, it could go a step further and dissect the findings made by the survey committee of what they found inside the Gyanvapi Mosque. So this is going to really set precedents for several other pleas in the future, or that have already come to fore, of various other mosques and other architectural monuments that Hindu groups are saying has Hindu religious significance. So this could be a precedent set as per what the court orders. What's expected?
Well, absolutely, Nabila. A lot of things depends on today's hearing and today's decision which has been taken, and we are getting to know that 2:30 is the time when the judge will start the proceedings. He's already reached the chamber. 32 people have been allowed, including from both the sides, the advocates, the petitioners, and all those people only who are required to be within the courtroom. So that is one picture. On the other hand, yes, the main argument, the main discussion and the main point is about the 7-Eleven, that is the maintainability of the case. The Muslim side constantly talking about it, and the Hindu side, on the other hand, has requested about to include the report, to make the report available to them. And at the same time, because to understand the nature of this case and the way the Muslim side has been saying this, that it's a clear violation of the 1991 Act. So the Hindu side has given argument that the previous verdicts which have come out are significant, and that is the reason that not only the survey report should be taken into consideration, but all those other arguments and all those other things which the Hindu side is claiming that existed, talks about the existence of Shringar Gauri temple, at the same time the Shivlinga which appeared in the survey, on all those points. So that is a very important thing. We are waiting for it, and I think within some time we'll get to know what course of action has been taken as far as this case is concerned, how is going to be the proceeding, whether it's going to be first a standalone 7-Eleven hearing that is on the maintainability of the case, or the judge decides to hear both the petitions simultaneously, one way 7-Eleven and along with it the survey report and all these things which the Hindu side has claimed as far as the hearing is concerned. Yes.
All right, Abhishek, of course, the maintainability issue is going to be taken up first, it appears. That's going to be a priority for the court to decide, first of all, whether this case itself can be encouraged and entertained under the court of law, considering there are other laws that parallelly restrict any kind of intervention when it comes to places of worship. The Places of Worship Act 1991 restricts any religious character of a religious site to be changed or touched, which stood post-1947, post-independence. So a lot of technicalities, legalities that the court will now have to look into.
Well, certainly, and that is the only basis that the Hindu side is constantly speaking about the survey report. We have an update. The court commissioner Vishal Singh is also in front of the judge who was conducting this whole survey, has filed the report along with the assistant commissioner Ajay Pratap Singh. And you know what happened during the survey? The survey was conducted, there was a revolt, there was a protest by the Muslim side, and then it was redone for the 3 days, and all those drama, including the removal of the previous former court commissioner Ajay Mishra. But today's appearance of court commissioner Vishal Singh is clear indication that report which the Hindu side is constantly saying that should be taken into consideration and should be made available. So that could be a possibility that it could also be taken into the hearing today. That is the main reason. And of course, this maintainability of the suit, which is the primary thing, Muslim side has been very vocal about it, and all these advocates and the petitioners constantly saying that this case should actually not be heard. There should be hold on the survey, and that's the reason when they went to the Supreme Court on one hand given the order to make the arrangements for Vajukhana, to protect the Shivlinga, and at the same time has also spoken about to transfer the case to the senior judge at the district level, so that more work can be done, and the sensitivity of the case was such that that was decided. So that itself shows that today's decision, whatever it's going to be, are going to be a very turning point, major point as far as the development is concerned, and the judge has to take that call along with all the petitioner lawyers who are already there. The hearing and the decision is just about to come in within few minutes, and that will determine the fate of this case, whether or not it's going to be a standalone on 7/11 or it's going to be heard mutually or one by one alongside with the evidences and the report which the Hindu side is claiming to be made available and also be included in the hearing as far as this whole case is concerned. Yes.
Right. Abhishek, go on to tell us on the kind of Hindu symbols that were actually found as part of the survey. The survey also did not go on without its fair share of trouble. We know that there was extensive resistance coming from the Muslim side, but after much of that hassle, the Varanasi Civil Court finally gave a go-ahead for the survey to be carried out without, of course, disrupting any of the mosque activities there. So the survey conducted has indeed found several Hindu symbols and structures, or rather, carvings on the walls, in terms of a shivling that they claim to have found, extensively speaking of the Hindu religious significance within the Gyanvapi Mosque complex. So list out to us, what are those symbols that are so sentimental for the Hindus which have been found in that survey?
Well, certainly, and as far as the survey was conducted earlier, it was a major point behind the petition. 5 women reaching the court asking to get the access to the Shringar Gauri temple to do the daily worship. That was the basis of this whole case, and it started off from there. And afterward, when it was getting to the court, a court commissioner was appointed in order to check whether such a temple existed or not, what are the findings as far as the survey is concerned, and whether there was a temple, or what all these claims have been made by the Hindu petitioner has been a major point of discussion. Now, when the survey was conducted for 3 days, sent it back to back, and the report which came later on clearly signifies the markings, the signatures, the crafting, and the Shivlinga, which has been claimed by the Hindu side, which was found in Vajukhana, which the Muslim side is saying is indeed a fountain. But Hindu side has always maintained the fact that tehkhanas, the basements where the survey was conducted, things which were found there, be it the signages of Kamal, the lotus, or the Hindu signs. So all these things are indicating towards that it is indeed a part of the Kashi Vishwanath temple, and Shringar Gauri temple, which has been said as has been an ancient part of this particular spot, should be made available to this petitioner. Now, what is happening is, be it the petition, it was about the access to the Shringar Gauri temple, but now it is all about whether it is an extension to the temple, because the things which have been found in the survey are the core basis of the Hindu side, who is claiming that there should be access to not only the temple of the Shringar Gauri, but also about the Shivlinga. And now the new petition which has been filed by Mahant Kulpati Tiwari, who is again claiming that in the basement there is another Shivlinga facing towards Nandi, and he needed access to it. He wants to worship Baba Vishwanath over there, and that has again come as an added point to it. So that petition will also be heard later, but primarily today it's going to be decided as far as the maintainability is concerned, and the Hindu side, which has constantly been saying that the survey which was conducted, the report should be made available, it should be part of consideration, and that both the things are going to be first of all priority for the judge, and that decision will be out soon as far as this whole case is concerned. Yes.
All right. Well, that said, there's also much talk about how the Muslim side have been inconvenienced with the Vajukhana area being sealed off. In fact, soon after the Supreme Court intervened, asking for that shivling that was claimed to have been found to be protected without disrupting namaz within the mosque. The CRPF, of course, was deployed by the district administration to keep a good vigil and guard that shivling area. And they sealed off the entire Wazukhana area. And for almost 2 days, there was a lot of confusion about where is going to be the Wazukhana. Is there an alternative spot? The Muslim side seemed quite aggrieved, saying that many people were doing their wazu from home and coming to mosque to pray the namaz. There was no alternative given to them. And finally, it appears that that situation too was settled. As per what we know is now they've been given an alternative spot to carry out their wazu. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. There has been an arrangement as far as wazu is concerned. Supreme Court has already instructed for it, the local administration, to make sure that, the namaz could also go, there should be arrangement for it. And as far as, the protection of Shivlinga is concerned, which is being said as the fountain, that also has been taken into consideration. Now, as far as security is concerned, the scenario is still the same. There is a tight security outside the temple and the mosque area, and they are maintaining the fact that it should not affect as far as the harmony, the social harmony of the area is concerned. Now, on the last Friday prayers, we have seen big number of namazis reaching there, and then the committee itself has to take the call. They were making the announcement there and asking all these namazis to go back because it was not allowed in big numbers. So that is also a thing. But, in this whole case, Nabila, we have witnessed from the day one, from this petition being filed, and then this whole hearing being conducted at the civil court, going to the Supreme Court, the Muslim side, and then coming back here where now the hearing is happening at the district court. One thing is very important, that the Hindu side, by their arguments and by their evidences and the survey report which they are trying to get on the table as far as this particular is concerned, it's all about that the Kashi Vishwanath temple alongside has all these evidences, and the Shringar Gauri temple, which has been said. We've also seen some of the video which came later on, went viral on social media about the basements and the kind of picture we have seen. There are Shivlingas which was signified, and at the same time, the Hindu side constantly claiming that this particular spot, specifically the Gyanvapi Mosque, was a temple and there is a Shringar Gauri there. Now, all those arguments will only be taken into consideration when the judge finds it reasonable enough to argue, and as far as the maintainability of the suit is concerned, which is the primary thing, that needs to be sorted first, and it depends on the judge whether he decides to go first for the 7-Eleven or would take both the things. One hand, the 7-Eleven or the hearing as per the report. So that is a major development. But as far as the access to the mosque is concerned, with the restrictions, with the security arrangements, that has been made sure, and the local administration here is making sure that there is no interruption as far as the regular accessibility of the spot is concerned. Yes.
All right. Abhishek, that said, we also saw when the Supreme Court intervened, the Supreme Court decided that this is for a higher panel to discuss, because there's a lot of technicality to this case, a lot of legal intervention needed when it comes to whether this, even hearing this matter in the first place needs a lot of knowledge or experience. For that matter, the court decided that this case must be taken away from the civil court, and a more experienced panel, an experienced judge, maybe the district judge would be the right person to really dissect this case further and understand if this case is really maintainable in the court of law. Why would you think that the Supreme Court, viewed this through this prism? Because of the complexities, because of the kind of sensitivity that this case holds, and the layers of laws that already exist, which this plea, if approved, will be vetoing.
Well, absolutely, and the sensitivity of the case is something which the Supreme Court has also taken into consideration. And in the order, it is quite clear that a balance act has been done. There are so many options which have been opened by the Supreme Court, and that is the reason that it has been given to the district judge to make sure that the arrangements are there. And as far as the hearing is concerned about the maintainability and the survey report which was conducted by the court commissioner earlier, whether or not it should be taken into consideration or not. Now, I'm giving you an update right now. The judge has reached at the bench. He has started to read the files and all those evidences and all those documents which have been provided. So that particular hearing has begun now in the courtroom, and both the sides, we at the advocates, Advocate Mirazuddin, Rais Ahmed Ansari, and Abhaynath Yadav, they are there, and alongside from the Hindu advocates who are also there. So now the proceeding has already begun, Nabila, and with some amount of time we'll get to know how legally process is going to move forward as far as this case is concerned. The judge has taken the time, but today, in a few while, we'll get to know about, after the hearing will proceed further, what's going to be the legal course of action, whether or not both the pleas will be heard by the judge, or the judge decides to first talk about the maintainability of 7-Eleven, which is a major point the Muslim side is constantly making. So the hearing has begun. Yes.
You know, from what we see here, Abhishek, it appears that the court has already started to look into the survey report. So what are we expecting now? Is the maintainability issue going to come up first, or is the survey report going to be checked and will be taken up before the maintainability issue? Or will the survey report be looked at and then the court will decide, okay, as per the survey report, do we then post that look at how maintainable this case is or not? What's the order, and what would be the priority here for the court at this moment?
Well, Nabila, it all depends on the judge how he's going to take it forward. As far as the maintainability of the case is concerned, it is not just going to be on the arguments. What are the evidences have been provided? What are the evidences the Muslim side has to show and has presented on the table will also be taken into consideration. Yesterday itself, we have seen the argument made by the Muslim side was speaking about a 1936 Deen Muhammad case and making an argument that has been there. They're also arguing on the fact that the 1991 Religious Faith Act says that after independence, whatever places of religion are in practice should be remain as it is. So that is also a thing. But the Hindu side who's constantly saying that the survey which was conducted by the Sessions Court or in the leadership of the court commissioner, it has the evidences, it has the things which should be taken into consideration, because without having a look upon it, it will not be able for, it won't be possible factually whether the maintainability should be maintained or not. So that is the reason which has been taken. Now it's again, I'm saying it's up to the judge how he's going to take it forward. He's already in the courtroom. Now, having a look at the files, both the sides are there. He might ask about what has to be done, but primarily we are now focusing and waiting for that important decision as far as the legality is concerned and how the court will decide to go ahead as far as this case is concerned, and both the petitions first primarily, which are the part of this whole controversy which is erupted here in Varanasi. Yes.
All right. Now, of course, we know that the Varanasi court has just about begun to hear the Gyanvapi case. Shortly from now, the court will decide the next course of action. The judge inside, who's at his chamber, he's already looking at the survey report. 32 people are currently present inside the courtroom, is what we understand. And this is, of course, going to be a really important verdict that the court will pronounce, if at all it does pronounce a verdict today. The hearing will begin in just a few moments from now. India Today is currently tracking those minute developments currently in the District Court of Varanasi after the Supreme Court intervened, asking for the District Court to take up this matter and decide on whether or not this case is indeed maintainable. And then, of course, the court would further go on to dissect the survey report and the survey findings that was carried out by the survey committee. Now, Abhishek, you are right outside the court. And we know that while there are barely 32 people who have been allowed inside the Varanasi District Court, there are many of them outside in anticipation, waiting for a positive verdict on their side. What's the sentiment on ground? Could you show us what's the real environment and the mood right there?
Well, Nabina, I need to break something, a very important development which has come as far as this case is concerned. The next date has been given, 26th of May. 26th of May, the date has been given for the hearing. This is the 1-9 order which has come now. This is, we are getting to know that now the hearing has been, will be done on 26th of May. So today is 24th. And the day after tomorrow, that is on, technically on Thursday is going to be the hearing. So this is what we are getting to know, that the next date, 26th of May, has been given, and that is the day when the court will listen to all these things together. Now we need to still wait whether both the things has been taken into consideration or what is the status as far as the maintainability is concerned and the other issue. But the date has come out, and that the next date is going to be 26th of May. Yes, back to you.
All right, so that's the big breaking that we're getting right here. The Gyanvapi hearing now has been adjourned. Now the next hearing will be on the 26th of May. Remember, all eyes were on what exactly the Varanasi court would say. Will it really pronounce a verdict on this case, if at all it is maintainable under court of law or not? And of course, the survey findings that needed court's intervention, all of that and more on the 26th of May that the court has pushed through. Let's take a listen at reaction.
आज माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि 7/11 पे हम सुनेंगे और अगली तिथि 26 तारीख को दी है। और इस संदर्भ में माननीय न्यायालय आज जो प्राथमिकता दिया है इसकी आज माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि 7/11 पे हम सुनेंगे और अगली तिथि 26 तारीख को दी है। और इस संदर्भ में माननीय न्यायालय आज जो प्राथमिकता दिया है इसकी स्पोषणीयता पर ही वो सुनेंगे। चूंकि मान ली सुप्रीम कोर्ट का इस तरह का डायरेक्शन था 27 तारीख का, उसके अनुपालन में ये मामला प्रोसीड करेगा।
तो केवल मेंटेनेबिलिटी पर पहले सुना जाएगा बाबू।
जी 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 जी।
तो आपकी तरफ से याचिका थी कि कोर्ट को कि वो जो आप ऑर्डर की कॉपी मांग रहे थे उन चीजों को उस पर
आज माननीय न्यायालय ने कहा कि उस पर मैं ऑर्डर कर देता हूँ, वीडियोग्राफी फोटोग्राफी की कॉपी आपको उपलब्ध करा दी जाएगी।
लेकिन पहले मेंटेनेबिलिटी पर बात होनी है।
जी जी जी।
जो आज ऑर्डर में करेक्शन भी किया गया, क्या करेक्शन किया गया, वो क्या करेक्शन किया गया
आज कोई? पर ये माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि हम 7/11 पे सुनेंगे, फोकस्ड करेंगे और जो पूरक प्रार्थना पत्र पड़े हैं पूजा के अधिकारी
1991 के एक्ट को लेकर जो दलीलें दी गई थी, जो बार बार कहा जा रहा था कि सुनवाई योग्य नहीं है, उस पर भी कोर्ट ने कुछ कहा?
नहीं, अब ये तो विवेचना का कोर्ट के विषय हो गया है और ये उसको ट्रायल पे।
मदन मोहन जी, एक चीज और थी, क्योंकि हिंदू पक्ष बार बार कह रहा था कि यहाँ पर सुनवाई होनी चाहिए और शिवलिंग की बात भी कही गई और ये भी कहा गया कि जो रिपोर्ट कमिश्नर की पेश की गई है उस पर भी फोकस करना चाहिए। उस मसले को लेकर क्या कुछ हुआ?
नहीं, उसमें विषय पर माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि 2 दिन बाद इसको हम ये 26 तारीख जो पड़ रही है डेट, उस पर स्पष्ट करेंगे।
यानी 26 तारीख को इस मसले पर हर एक
जी 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 जी
महत्वपूर्ण याचिकाएं लगी थी, क्योंकि 4 याचिका थी, तो किस याचिका पर सुनवाई?
उसको माननीय न्यायालय ने कहा कि उस दिन हम विचार करेंगे, यानी 26 को।
यानी अभी ये तय नहीं हुआ है कि किस याचिका पर सुनवाई होगी?
जी 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 26 को।
यानी अभी हर याचिका पर सुनवाई होगी, ये 26 तारीख को तय।
उन सबको संरक्षित करते हुए सारी याचिकाओं को माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि इसको 2 दिन बाद वो 26 को सुने। प्राथमिकता पे 7/11 ही है जो माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश था उसके आलोक में।
आपके लिए जीत है क्या है?
और निसंदेह माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जैसा डायरेक्शन किया और हमने तैयारी कर रखी है, इसके लिए तो हम आशान्वित हैं और अवश्य ही इसमें हम
विजय शामिल कराने की आप बात कर रहे थे, उसको पहले उन्हें देखा जाए। रिपोर्ट पर अभी फिलहाल जी बात की है, रिपोर्ट जो आप बात कर रहे थे उसको लेकर के फिलहाल कोर्ट ने अभी कुछ नहीं उसको देखा है।
नहीं देखा है और इस पे कोर्ट।
मदन मोहन जी, हर हर महादेव के उद्घोष भी लगे कोर्ट रूम के अंदर इस फैसले के बाद? हर हर महादेव का उद्घोष हुआ?
निसंदेह हर्ष की अनुभूति हुई है। हमारे हिंदू पक्ष के साथियों ने वहाँ पे वादकारी ने इस प्रसंग पे हर्षित हुए। वादी पक्ष वो माननीय न्यायाधीश बैठे रहे, 5 मिनट में उसको पढ़ के सुना दिया।
वादी पक्ष ने ये कहा था कि जो साक्ष्य है, जो सर्वे साक्ष्य है, उनको भी जोड़ा जाए। तो क्या वादी पक्ष के इस मामले पर कुछ मदन जी चीजों को स्पष्ट कि आप जो वादी पक्ष की जो मांग थी कि जो सर्वे साक्ष्य है उनको भी जोड़ा जाए, उस पर क्या फैसला हुआ?
आज अपनी टीम है वहाँ। मदन मोहन जी हमारे साथ में मौजूद है। मदन जी, आज किस तरीके से कोर्ट में क्या आदेश दिया गया है जब तक ये कार्रवाई?
आज माननीय न्यायालय ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि जो रूल 7/11 पे पटल पे रखा हुआ है और विपक्षी द्वारा उसको फोकस्ड किया जा रहा है और साथ में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का डायरेक्शन इस संदर्भ में था तो उसकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी
पहले पोषणीयता पर बात होगी
पोषणीयता पे
26 तारीख को।
हाँ जी पोषणीयता पे ही बात होगी 26 तारीख को, 26 मई को ये डिसाइड किया गया।
आपने जिस तरीके से रिपोर्ट मांगने की बात की थी उसको भी कंसीडर करने की बात कही थी।
माननीय न्यायालय ने कहा कि मैं आदेशित कर देता हूं, कल आप प्राप्त करें।
नहीं, क्या उसको आधार बनाया जाएगा कि पहले पोषणीयता 7-11 पर पहले बात होगी?
नहीं, 7-11 का जब प्रोसेस चलेगा बहस का तो निसंदेह हम बात करेंगे कि हमारा जो ये सारी आख्याएं हैं, रिपोर्ट हैं, उसके बनस्पत उस पे भी परखा जाए इस मुकदमे को।
लेकिन जिस तरीके से कहा जा रहा था, मुस्लिम पक्ष बार बार कह रहा था कि 7-11 में स्टैंड ही नहीं करेगा, आपको लग रहा है?
वो क्या कहते हैं वो छोड़िए, हर वकील अंतिम क्षण तक जीतता है, लेकिन उसकी तैयारी हमने की।
अब आज कोर्ट ऑर्डर करेगा, उसके बाद हमें कॉपी मिलेगी वीडियोग्राफी फोटोग्राफी की कमीशन रिपोर्ट पे, और 26 मई को सुनवाई है पोषणीयता पे। कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे दोनों पक्षों से ऑब्जेक्शन मंगा लिया गया।
1 सप्ताह का समय दिया है उन्होंने
जी, 1 हफ्ता के अंदर
26 तारीख को 7-11 में सुनवाई।
26 तारीख को सुनवाई। 1 हफ्ते में कमीशन की रिपोर्ट का ऑब्जेक्शन आ गया।
विष्णु जी
क्या हुआ है अभी आज?
The council stepping out of court, speaking to the media, saying that the next hearing now will be on the 26th of May. The
ऑब्जेक्शन दे, और जो वीडियोग्राफी और जो सीडी है, फोटोग्राफी की सीडी, वो भी हमें प्रोवाइड की जाए, उसके लिए भी कोर्ट ने आदेश पारित किया।
26 को सुनवाई है तो 1 हफ्ता तो उसके बाद फिर दोबारा सुनवाई के लिए रखा है।
अब 26 तारीख को सुनवाई शुरू हो जाएगी। अब उसके बाद कोर्ट निर्धारित करेगा कि इसकी सुनवाई डे टू डे होनी है, 27 को होनी है, अगले दिन होनी है। 26 तारीख को मुस्लिम पक्ष 7-11 पे केस की मेंटेनेबिलिटी पे अपनी बहस शुरू कर देगा।
आपको कब तक मिलेंगे ये फोटो और इसकी?
कोर्ट ने कहा है कि वो आज आदेश पारित कर देंगे और 1-2 दिन के अंदर हम उसकी कॉपी भी ले लेंगे।
दलील भी दी गई कि
नहीं, आज कोई आर्गुमेंट नहीं हुआ था। कोर्ट ने अपना सिर्फ ऑर्डर सुनाया कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि सूट की मेंटेनेबिलिटी पहले डिसाइड की जाए, इसलिए जब सूट की मेंटेनेबिलिटी डिसाइड हो जाएगी तब हम आगे प्रोसीड करेंगे। पर जो कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे ऑब्जेक्शन आना है, कोर्ट ने कहा कि जो कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है 5-4 का वो प्रभावी है, और इससे पहले का ऑर्डर कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे ऑब्जेक्शन मंगाने का वो प्रभावी है। इसलिए दोनों पक्ष 1 हफ्ते के अंदर कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे जो कहना चाहते हैं, अपना ऑब्जेक्शन देना चाहते हैं, वो भी दे सकते हैं।
तो मेंटेनेबिलिटी पे अगर ये सुना जाएगा, अगर ऑब्जेक्शंस मंगाए गए हैं
जी,
तो क्या जब मेंटेनेबिलिटी पर सुनवाई होगी तो जो सर्वे का रिपोर्ट है उसको भी मेंशन किया जाएगा?
नहीं, बिल्कुल देखिए, सर्वे की रिपोर्ट पे उनसे उनके ऑब्जेक्शंस मंगा लिए गए हैं। 1 हफ्ते का समय दिया गया है। जब तक मेंटेनेबिलिटी पे सुनवाई हो रही है तब तक सर्वे की रिपोर्ट पे ऑब्जेक्शन आके जो मुझे लगता है उनकी बात खत्म हो जाएगी। उसके बाद वो कोर्ट के रिकॉर्ड का पार्ट होगा, वो भी हम रिलाई कर सकते हैं अपने आर्गुमेंट के दौरान मेंटेनेबिलिटी के इशू पे, क्योंकि अभी मेंटेनेबिलिटी का इशू का पक्ष जो है वो मुस्लिम साइड को स्टार्ट करना है और हमें वहां पे उसको रिस्पॉन्ड करना है। तो 26 को उनका आर्गुमेंट शुरू होगा और कमीशन की रिपोर्ट पे ऑब्जेक्शन उनका इन द मीन टाइम आ जाएगा और वो भी साथ में पढ़ा जाएगा। ऐसा हमारा इंटरप्रिटेशन है।
यानी अब जो भी होगा 26
तो ये थे
हमारे भी साक्ष्य जो साथ चलते रहेंगे।
लेकिन आपने जिस तरीके की मांग कही थी कि दोनों को एक साथ में लिया जाए, वो तो फिलहाल
नहीं, केवल सुनवाई 7-11 पे करेंगे, माननीय न्यायालय द्वारा किया जाएगा। 7-11
क्या लगता है, ये जीत है कि हार है? क्योंकि मुस्लिम पक्ष तो चाह रहा था।
हमारे साक्ष्य हमारे साथ, हमने प्रामाणिक ढंग से प्रामाणिक तरीके से सारे दावे को हमने जो है दाखिल किया है, सारे प्रमाण हमारे हैं। और ये जो कह रहे हैं कि जो ये वर्सेस ऑफ प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्सेस एक्ट का ये उल्लंघन है, ये सब गलत है। हम लोग इसकी लड़ाई, हम लोग तो जिस लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, जो साक्ष्य आ रहे हैं वो सारे हमारे मंदिर हैं, इसलिए हम लोग केवल नेचर जानने की बात कमीशन में आई है। और ये सुनवाई 1 सप्ताह बाद इस पे भी संभवतः माननीय न्यायालय
सुनवाई में रिपोर्ट को भी मद्देनजर रखा जाएगा 26 तारीख को आपकी तरफ से।
अब ये 26 को 7-11 पर सुनवाई शुरू हो जाएगी, उसके बाद 1 सप्ताह में जिसको आपत्ति देना है देगा, और वो आपत्ति आ जाने के बाद माननीय न्यायालय उस संदर्भ उस विषय पे भी सुनवाई करेगी।
बिल्कुल साफ तौर पर इस पूरे मामले में कोर्ट ने साफ कर दिया है कि इसकी पोषणीयता यानी कि मेंटेनेबिलिटी
सब आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। हर हर महादेव।
Petitioners there rejoicing, hoping that the court will rule in their favor. They've been asking for permission to pray inside the Gyanvapi complex, citing Hindu symbolism and sentiments. Here is one of the petitioners speaking to the media. Let's have a listen.
26 से फिर से जो है सुनवाई शुरू हो जाएगा।
अच्छा ये बताइए मैम, जैसा आप चाहते थे वैसा ही हुआ है?
जी न्याय हम लोग को मिलेगा, इसका पूरा उम्मीद है। हम
All right, there you have the petitioners who are very confident. They seem to be quite confident that the court will rule in their favor. Of course, on both sides, having faith in the law. You have the Muslim side who said that the survey itself is illegal in the first place. And now the Hindu side waiting for the court to take up the matter on the 26th of May. That's when the next hearing will be taken up. Let me cut across to Abhishek Mishra. Abhishek, the court now decides to take up the matter on the 26th of May. We heard what the lawyers, the counsel had to say. Do elaborate for us what's expected in the next hearing? What is the advocate said to you right outside court?
Well, absolutely, Nabila. In this whole case, the advocate has spoken and they are saying that the court had decided to first argue on the maintainability, which has been the focus point throughout the time. And the court has decided to first hear about the 7-11. That is about whether or not this case stands as per the maintainability of this case is concerned, whether it's a violation or not, and that particular thing will be heard first. The Muslim side has been very keen on it. They have been maintaining the first that this should be done. But the Hindu side, which yesterday came out and said that as far as the copy of the survey is concerned, that should be made available. And at the same time, that report survey, that should also be taken into consideration. But the court primarily has given 1 week time to them to study the report and then come up with any arguments or any kind of opposition they have. But primarily, it's going to be, first of all, about the maintainability of the suit, which was also indicated by the Supreme Court. And Varanasi District Judge has also spoken about it, given a clear verdict that on 26th of May, first it has to be decided whether the case is maintainable suit or not. And the Muslim side, which was also very keen on it, that is something could be a possible good news for them. But now, first of all, it will all depends on the 26th of May when the hearing will start as far as maintainability is concerned, and the 1 week time has been given to study the report and at the same time registering any arguments and any opposition if the party has as far as the survey was concerned. Yes.
All right, Abhishek.